We're down here at the beach. Some people on the stream. Got a pen. I got a notebook. This is the first ever HMU, Hunnitap Musical Universe. So welcome. Hey, Ubi. Right on. Yeah, hey, check this out. Not a bad night. Thought it'd be a good time to sort of reflect on a few topics. Then after this, I'm going to go hit the grocery store and get some dinner. The rest of my family kind of ate on their own. Oh, well, no need to be jealous. You're right here with me, Ubi. All right. So I'm thinking back. I did 2 streams this weekend. And I have some changes that I want to make. First of all, the sheet that I use for my performance, I want to have all the keys written down just on a piece of paper. I think I'm going to have one piece of paper, which is kind of my decoder ring for the whole set. And I had the start of that, really, with what I came with last night. It's just that I didn't add the keys. I only had the list. I reordered the list, but I've been having a hard time finding all the songs in my kind of manual I use to see all my cheat sheets and line that up with the music on my Galaxy A9 Plus, I believe is the one that I've got. Right on. Yeah, so I'm going to make I'll call it a one-page plan template, which will have, I'm going to write down this, it'll have the order of the songs, it will have the key of each song. I'll say like lick notes. I usually have some lick notes. It doesn't sound right when I say it like that, but lick notes meaning this lick works, this lick doesn't work, do this, do that. And maybe even some like important notes. By that I mean some things I always need to remember when I play that song, until I get to the point where I'm fluid with all the songs. And it might seem sort of crazy to think you have to get fluid with your own songs, but I've written so many songs now that it's quite honestly hard to keep track of them all. But I'm actually learning my own stuff over again, and I typically don't think of playing the same song twice. I think of playing the song in the recording and then just playing it however I want afterwards. But in a performance setting, it's nice to really be able to flow with some of the sections in these songs, and I've been enjoying that, and I get better every stream, and I just want to keep on that trajectory. Yeah, Ubi, you can't remember all your songs either? Glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I was watching your video about the juxtaposition of speed and soul, which I can completely relate to. I think you should sink into one note as deep as you can go sometimes. And as Lester Mitchell would say, the great Lester Mitchell would say, to sink into the color of the note, to really sink into the color of the note. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that idea. We should be sinking into the color of the note and really exploring what you can do with just subtle variations, as well as all the other stuff, you know, that you enjoy doing. I just noticed it's got this sign in the background. I'm gonna. There you go. Oh, no way. Yeah, Lester did the rap song. Yeah, I think I've seen that also. Lester's video. That's pretty cool. I need to restart my lessons with Lester. He is my guitar teaching guru, but I just kind of ran out of available bandwidth. So yeah, I'm going to make the one page plan template. That's going to be a for sure thing on upcoming streams to help me keep track and flow. What I'm trying to work towards is really the perfect stream. And what I mean is all the songs I want to play, each one perfect, meaning I don't hit any unintended notes. There you go. Yeah, and I feel like when I'm there, I'm going to be in good shape for playing out. Hey there, Ray's World official channel. How you doing? Thank you for jumping on. I hope you will subscribe. By the way, we got a whole bunch of people on the live stream tonight. This is Hunnitap Musical Universe. We talk about anything musical. I compose my own original music. I live in coastal Florida, and we're down at the end of my street tonight as I just kind of take some notes on things I want to realize from the weekend and places I want to go moving forward. Now, coming up this week, I have a live stream, co-live stream planned with TED Talks Guitars, and I'm really excited about that. Ubi, you and I need to get on one of those too. And that should be a lot of fun. I have a lot of questions planned for Ted because I'm curious about him. He's an interesting guy. He's been working on a Squire recently, and just prior to that, he had another guitar that he was diving into. I believe it was a Harmony. So he's got a lot of good videos. Go check that out if you haven't seen TED Talks Guitars, if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's fun, you know, playing guitars, making guitars, modifying guitars. I just like to look at a guitar, honestly. That's pretty much enough for me. And then the joy of playing it, the fact that I can play it at all is a bonanza. A bonanza. Okay, other topics. I have been diving into the world of AI image generation. And that is incredible. It's incredible. It's like you can write a poem in your imagination and put it in and get an image that you never could have imagined with some fine tuning, and kind of teach it where you want to go as you thumbs up and thumbs down the model. And I think you're really teaching the model as much as it's helping you. But I've been creating new song-inspired art for all my original work and putting that on the channel. So I spent a decent amount of today doing that, unfortunately, I suppose, because I didn't get out and enjoy the day. But the ocean water is just getting warm enough now to where it is comfortable to swim without a wetsuit, in my opinion. Because, and by the way, we got a couple nice people walking through. We're going to leave it on this so you can see the nice people walking through. This is what we got going on here. Typical day in my neck of the woods. Yeah, we'll schedule that soon, Ubi. Let's do that. I got to drop you an email so we can connect on that. That'll be a lot of fun. I also want to do that, of course, with Avery. And I haven't pitched that to him yet, but I'll have to see if he's into it. Maybe he'll jump on tonight. You never know. Could get lucky. I always like to say that I don't have enough friends to make a band. And by that I mean, let's think of it this way. You have some quantity of friends in the world. And of those friends, you have some quantity of them who would be interested in music. And then you have some subset of those that would actually be people that you want to play music with. In other words, that you align with musically, you know, you click. And I really think that's the thing. There's like a chemistry there when you play with people musically. And I wouldn't say good, bad, or otherwise, but just, you know, some people kind of click musically, others don't, and no worries on either side of that coin. But yeah, so it's really hard to find people that you're simpatico with and compatible with. And I have one good buddy of mine who I wrote a bunch of Hunnitap songs with. The Stop is one of them. Uh, It Will Be Okay is another one. Sunrise Street is another one. These are all songs I've written with my buddy Damon, and I keep trying to convince him to come and play on the stream, so hopefully he'll come and join me. You know, perfection is the enemy of completion in so many cases, I would claim. And what I mean is that the urge to be perfect, whatever that means, is just a foolish trap that would prevent you from doing things like perhaps playing music and hitting a few wrong notes. I mean, who really cares? I think everybody understands, unless you're not trying to fake it. What I mean is trying to fake that you're something, I don't know, ego-oriented, let's say. So dare to hit a few wrong notes. That's how you learn the right ones. I mean, we're not trying to torture anybody with our musical abilities, but at the same time, we are trying to just express what occurs, and I think you got to do it to get to where you want to go. I think musical performance really strengthens your overall musical ability, your songwriting capability. Yeah, so I've been playing with AI though to help spice up all the thumbnails that are associated with the songs that I've written so far. And what I'm thinking of doing is doing some like AI streams on the channel where I generate AI art. I'm writing this idea down with ideas from the people on the stream. I wonder if that's a good idea. Man, this sound I'm hearing right now of the ocean just gently crashing is quite nice. Just a few puffy clouds. Yo, Archduke of Tops, great to have you here. Thank you for joining this stream. I hope you will subscribe. If you're not already, by the way, if you are already subscribed, we got a bunch of people on the stream now. Thank you, I really, really appreciate it. If you're not yet subscribed, join in. You'll be one of the crowd immediately, quite honestly. All you have to do is click that subscribe button. If you want to throw me a thumbs up, well, I might explode with contentment, if that is possible. I think it's possible. All right, other topics that I had planned to discuss tonight. I have a whole list of them. Should I or should I not buy another Jet guitar? So let's talk about Jet guitars. Jet guitars. Jet. I was bitten by the Jet bug. You know, I played around with Firefly guitars for some amount of time, and they're fun. I would say out of the 7 Firefly guitars which I purchased, 2 of which I'm going to put into consignment rather soon. Of the 7 of them, I would say 4 were great guitars in their own way. Really solid, great guitars in most ways. Weird, totally weird. What I mean is, in them there are things that is just unusual, like the trem claw bolt coming into the pickup cavity, and it didn't affect anything, but just the fact that that was a thing. Things like that. Binding work being weird on some of them. They're bizarre, but I kind of like that about them, to be honest. But out of the 7, there were 2 that I would say were sort of dud level in my opinion, and what I mean by that is they had no songs in them. They had 0 songs in the guitar. I claim every guitar has a certain quantity of songs, and those guitars had a quantity of 0, so they're gone. And then I have another one that is in the sick bay, let's say. It's a semi-hollow body. It's one of those B.B. King model Black Beauty, what do they call them? I think that's it. But the black guitar with the gloss finish and the gold tuners and the gold pickups, that one. I like that one, and I actually am just going to put that through a video where I upgrade it. I'm going to upgrade a few things on it. I've got locking tuners already for it. I'll do a little bit of nut work, a little bit of fret work, and before you know it, that thing will be a nice semi-hollow body. Yo, Jupe, how's it going, Jupe? Jupe, we're gonna get you a view of the Atlantic Ocean as we plan through some things that we're doing. So we were talking about jet guitars. So yeah, I purchased one jet guitar, and I decided, you know, it had the lowest line, the JS 300 models had maple necks and white bodies, just like looking like the Hendrix Woodstock white Stratocaster, but it was $200. And I thought, you know, I really have been getting more and more into the classic tones part of what I do. And so I decided I'm going to get just the classic 3 single coil pickups Jet JS 300. That thing showed up, and I immediately fell in love with the neck shape, the playability. The fretwork was good. Everything was good. And the pickups, even though they were just the inexpensive ceramic pickups, they really sounded fantastic. So I fell in love. And then I'm like, well, hey, why don't I get the guitar that looks like the one that Tom Misch plays, which I never really thought I would be much of a Sunburst Stratocaster, the classic kind of, you know, Sunburst Stratocaster, you know what I'm talking about, kind of guy. But then I thought, after seeing Tom play it, and then I saw the dark pickguard, the tortoiseshell darker pickguard. It's like a reddish, brownish kind of pickguard on the Jet. So I bought another Jet JS 300. Which led me to think, you know, the only thing I really need now is yet another Jet guitar. I really just am on a roller coaster with that. And I did something with that second Jet guitar already. Well, both of them I've modified since. But I'm curious about just that as a platform, the Jet JS 300 as a modifications platform. However, the spot where I got them, Chiron Guitars, is out of all of them except for the very light green. Turns out I love the light green one, but it comes with a white pickguard, and I don't really like that. So I could then use that as an excuse to replace the pickguard with something a little darker. Maybe I'll do that tortoiseshell again. And maybe go with some kind of weird pickup configuration, like maybe even just maybe change it from a single to a humbucker single, and not put in a tone knob. I am wanting to abandon my attachment to tone knobs. I find I use them 0% of my life. And if you use something 0% of your life, do you really need it? You know, and I don't think I do. I think I want 100% tone all the time. Bought an Ash Body Firefly. The pickups needed to change. They were weak. Other than that, awesome axe. Yeah, oh yeah, Fireflies can be amazing. I'm glad you got a good one, Jupe. I love a few of mine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start putting them into the live streams. I have two Firefly FFSTs, which I absolutely love. One of them I put Guitar Fetish pickups into. And the set that I put in, I also got, before I talk about that, I also got the plug system from Guitar Fetish. And I got the mini capacitors because they're just easier to fit in there, and I think they're the same thing. And man, was that easy. Everything just plugged together perfectly. Even the jack, it was incredible. Really, honestly, it was perfect. And I got what they call the Van Halen humbucker pickup. I got it in a gold style, like metal cover pickup. And I got the Hendrix, 2 of the Hendrix, whatever the rating was for the neck and the middle pickup. I got those 2. And put that all together, and man, it sounds fantastic. The single coil are a little bit noisy, but nothing crazy, and the sound is fantastic. And that's the FFST Relic guitar, which came with a 6-screw trim, but I just locked it down as hard as I could with the claw all the way up to the body, and then also I think I put in a couple of extra springs to really try to just lock it down. Guitar vacation, yeah. Right on. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. For those who just jumped on, we're going to just jump to the other side here to look at the windy world at the end of my street, and we've got a human being walking down the beach, and I love to see that. The rhythm of my community pulsing is like a little blood cell just flowing along the stream of contentedness right here. But thanks for jumping on Guitar Vacation. I'm stoked. Jammin' Palmer. Ah, brother Hugh Janis has an FSST. I think you mean FFST, but I get you. That's killer, man. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna have to check out. That's why I turn on a chat replay, because Jammin' Palmer. I will come back and look at this comment, and then I'll go research Hugh Janis, and I find a lot of interesting stuff. But I don't know who Hugh. Guitar Vacation knows Hugh Janis. I just stepped in it. Got me. Thanks, Guitar Vacation. Appreciate you. Life level 1000. It's a high level. You know, the problem with being on life level 1000 is there's one way to go. But that's the way you're going eventually anyhow. Am I right? Or am I right? One of my songs, I say, life is a bell tone. The strike, then the rise, the noise, then it dies. And I do believe that is, of course, obviously, the deal. All right, and I have a bunch of other topics to talk about. I did re-up my favorite strings, and I'm wondering if you're on here and you're playing guitar, if you would throw in the chat what your favorite strings are. And I will go first, maybe, unless you beat me to it in the chat. Let you know that my favorite strings are Super Slinkies. And they're the classic, I think, string I've been getting since I was practically a teenager, I think, and they've just always worked great. And I think they've gotten better because I almost never break a high E string. Like I can remember back in college and when I was gigging all the time, it seemed like I was breaking them on a fairly regular basis. And that could have been the guitar that I was playing, honestly. It really could have been the guitars that I was playing, or the amount of time I was playing those guitars, which was, you know, at least 2 to 3 hours a day with the band practicing, and then on the weekends gigging. So that was a different kind of pace for those strings, but I still love the Super Slinkies, and I've tried the NYXLs. I know there's a lot of feedback out there about the NYXLs being something that will like wear down your frets, and I believe that could be true. Hey, thank you for the emoticons. I appreciate it. Thank you. That stokes me up. I don't know why that works so well. Yeah, and the other thing is you can get a pack of Super Slinkies from wherever, Sweetwater, Amazon, Guitar Shack of local repute, for about $6 a pack. So I don't like to be, let's say, stingy with the strings, even though that is my nature. So I have to avoid that. So the cost of the strings being $6, you know, I usually also get a pack of just the E strings in case, but I rarely use them. So if like I did with my Jet, okay, so the Jet remodels, we'll go back to that topic here briefly. Those 2 Jets that I got, one of them I recently finished what I thought was a complete project until I plugged it in and realized the volume knob totally doesn't work. You know, that's a tough moment, but it's always all volume. That's what I can say. The tone knobs work, but long story short, it was a slow motion car wreck of guitar electronics upgrades, but it worked out okay in that it sounds great. I put 3 Fender vintage noiseless pickups, and I had no idea how complicated that was, but they put in the packet that these 3 tone knobs, these 3 500K potentiometers, and they had 1 of one type and 2 of another type. I said, oh, I got to put those in, you know. I didn't realize until after I put them in that maybe I shouldn't put 500K capacitors in with single coils if I want that vintage sound. So then I took the potentiometers, which were perfectly good, that were in the jet and worked fantastic, even solid solders all around on all those in that jet. The electronics were done really well in terms of the solder job. Like, you can tell a lot about how much meticulous care they put into each solder job, as opposed to like some of the Firefly stuff. It was like they rubbed it on there. It was bizarre almost when you look at the electronics job. Oh, look, pelicans. Yeah, but I put the other 250K pots that it came with all back in there, soldered, took out all the other stuff, soldered in all new stuff, heat shrunk the whatever. And then I realized I didn't have one of the little nuts that went on the small pots that came with the jet, and I couldn't find it. And all the other nuts I had were either too big or way too big. So long story short, I took a potentiometer from an old Firefly deconstruct that I hoped would work. It was a bigger pot, and now I had two of the small ones for the tones and the one big one for the volume. Tapped with the screwdriver, never tested the volume, but I tested that each pickup worked with the 5-way switch. Oh, that's the other thing, is I realized the 5-way switch that came in the jet was one of those circuit board switches, and I'm like, ah, man, I just was like, I don't even want that. I want to get a real Fender, just classic switch that already looks like the one in the wiring diagram. So I ordered one of those off of Amazon. Long story short, I've got to go back in. So how does this relate to the strings? Well, I just put those strings on and stretched them out, and they're doing great. And I have locking tuners, so it's kind of hard to get them back in there. But now I just think, the worst that happens is that E string I'll have to replace because it'll break off. Sometimes when the second time you lock them down, I found they do break. I think it's just a matter of crunching that same spot twice. But I could probably get it to go back in one more time and play for a little while until I break it. So I've got to deconstruct that. And I thought maybe I'd live stream my electronics newbieism as I do that. But the whole time I'm thinking maybe I ought to just take out the tone knobs. But it had these weird other components you had to solder in on the diagram. I think, I don't even know really what they are. The little orange, what do they call it? The orange thing? Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm an artist trying to build a paintbrush, but I really don't know anything about paintbrushes, but I just kind of learn as I go, and then the paintbrushes I happen to build, I end up loving. So yeah, who knows? But the next jet guitar, it's only a matter of time. It really is only a matter of time. But honestly, I need to start offloading some of these things. Oh, look at this. It's getting darker. Little wave out there today. Little wave. Maybe go surfing tomorrow morning. Take a longboard out. It's small, but this time of year we start to get the trade wind swells, meaning we get wind all the way from Africa that blows pretty much in a straight line here, or in a curved straight line here, and it'll push in these little lines you see out there. But they're little, but they're frequent. Yeah. Jupe. Yeah, the Elixir Nano Webs. Okay, nice. Yeah, Jupe's on the Slinky 9s with me. Nice. Yeah, I think they're great strings. And when I bought those strings, I bought another pack of my favorite picks, which are the Dunlop Flow 1 whatever it is, millimeter, I guess it is, picks. And man, I love those. They're like almost have a glassy sound on the attack. It's really an excellent pick. And the ones that I got have the grip on the pick, so they don't slip out of your hand. I found on some of the Flow Tortex ones, or the other ones I like them a lot, but they do slip out of your fingers. They're almost got a slipperiness to them in a weird way, like a chalky slipperiness to them. Although I do love them. I don't know if you have a favorite pick. Seems like a little thing, but pick can change your tone a lot. And this one that I found, the Flow Tortex with the grip on it, that one is really checked the box. So I did get a couple other components. I've got another capacitor to put in there to replace the one that doesn't work. And hopefully that'll fix the problem. If not, back to the drawing board again, but that's part of the fun of it. Once I'm done, it's something like, I look at it like a Jedi building the lightsaber. You know, it takes a lot of steps. You got to find just the right crystal that pops in there and wire it just right. And if you do, it's an awesome thing. You're doing backflips in a lightsaber battle with Darth Vader or something similar. Musically, the musical equivalent. Wow, I see a sailboat way, way out there. I always think this time of night, like it's almost dark, and you're about 3 miles out to sea in a fairly windy ocean. That's heavy. A lot can go wrong. That's a long swim in, let me tell you. And I can tell you something from having, my family has sustained 3 shark bites in my life. And so we're pretty tuned in with sharks, like, and they also think we're delicious. But the sharks, once you get a mile out, the way those sharks behave is radically different than how they behave right next to the shore. And I can tell you that for a fact, Jack. Yeah, the blue ones, Jupe. Yes, sir. That's the one I'm talking about. The blue ones, yeah. That's my favorite. It's my current favorite. Okay, I have another topic, and that is that I am getting ready to embark on another album, another set of music, and this time with my eye really on things that I can enjoyably play and vibe with in live streams and live performances. I'm not going to go with 10 songs. It'll be either 5 or 7. But I'm going to get started on that. And I think if you've listened to my song Kentucky Grasshopper, it will be similar sort of vein to that. Whatever that is that happened there, it'll be that similar sort of thing. That's right. Yeah, you kind of make it yours. It's like the samurai sword builder who makes the sword and then uses it to go do samurai things. Yeah, it connects you with your instrument. El Green, thank you for jumping on. Hope you sub. Gotta say that. It's Mando. Yeah. We are in the east coast of Central Florida, just south of Kennedy Space Center. And it sure is a nice night. I'll give you a view. By the way, hit that thumbs up if you like this sort of thing. Just you, me, and the pelicans. Talking about guitar things. This is the first episode of Hunnitap Musical Universe, meaning we just talk about musical things. I'm kind of following the model of Phil McKnight in the sense of just having a prepared list of topics I can walk through. And yeah, we've walked through a few of them tonight. Now I am continuing to perfect my ultra lightweight live streaming capability. And in order to do that, I basically have a mic stand that's very collapsible, an audio interface, which is a Zoom H4 Essential, a Spark Go amplifier, which is a 5-watt little tiny amp, you know, something like an SM58 microphone, a tablet, my phone, and that allows me to stream anywhere with just that set of gear and a bunch of cables, all wirelessly, all through battery. So that's incredible. And I put on, and headphones. So I'm hearing everything through the headphones. It's not, nobody hears it but what I hear in the headphones. So that means it is a complete setup for playing anything which is guitar oriented and anything where I don't need an effect on the vocals. However, I'd like to be able to sing and to play the guitar, which probably is weird for the people around hearing it because they're just hearing the singing without the music. But I need to get some kind of battery operated vocal effect. But the other thing is that I can add to that setup and then it will be complete. Then I will be able to stream from any geographic location which has a cell tower connectivity to it. That's mountaintops, ocean sides, boats, roads, commodes, heavy loads, all of it. So that's amazing. And that's like the ultimate, to me, silent busker rig. And it's taken me a while to get there. I did debut it about a week ago on the beach, not far from here. Streamed right into the night. Guitar Vacation was there faithfully. Thank you, sir. And it was a little rough in the sense that I got sand and everything, and it was too dark to see, so I was hitting a lot of wrong notes, but I achieved it. I achieved my dream of playing on the beach and learned I really don't want to play on the beach in sandals because like it also is hard to balance with the guitar and manage everything. Not that I have a hard time balancing, it's just you're on the beach and it's dark, and wherever you step, it's kind of the sand gives way, and you're trying to position yourself perfectly to the microphone. The whole thing is just a little bit awkward. Now, I could have mitigated a lot of that just by having a big blanket, like one of those big Mexican-style blankets that you put on the beach. So I may get one of those and use it if I do it again. But the thing of coming back and just having sand and everything is something I knew would happen, but I didn't think it would happen as much as it happened. But I got excited, stayed out a little past when I had planned to, like I'm probably doing tonight. Just because I enjoy the fellowship of all of it. Have you checked out the Cornerstone Nero Fuzz? No, I have not, but I do love fuzz, as you know. Cornerstone Nero Fuzz. I'm going to write it down. I will check it out. There's a little beach access right behind me, so I hear people talking, but they're just up there kind of enjoying the Sunday evening, just like us. Oh, thanks, Jupe. I appreciate you like that artwork. Yeah, I've been going all in on the artwork. I'm retooling my entire channel with basically artwork that I'm generating using AI, and I've really been enjoying that. In fact, I'm planning on doing some streams where with the channel, these will be other Hunnitap Musical Universe episodes where I make AI art with AI and you on live streams. So that should be a heck of a lot of fun. Okay, nice. Well, Guitar Vacation, you should buy it and do a demo of it, and then I'll buy it, and we'll be co-fuzz, stereo fuzz. Yeah, so every live stream that I do, in terms of the performance ones that I do, moves me a little closer to my objective of getting out and playing live again, like I did back in the day. And this is the other topic I wanted to get to. I have some ideas of where I'll play first. And at first I thought, well, I have enough songs I could probably get someone to pay me somewhere to play for money, potentially, but I think that's premature. What I really need to do is get my out loud sound setup down so that it sounds good. And I'll actually use that same Zoom H4 Essential audio interface to record with the mics on the unit, to record acoustically what's going on, as opposed to through the line in, which is how I do all of my other streams. And nonetheless, I need to tune in my live sound setup. And that's going to be fun. I have a couple Boss Katana 100 speakers that I think would make excellent powered speakers to kind of spread the sound out a bit. Not even that loud, but just that Spark amplifier, the Live 150 that I have, is so good. It has the vocal effects, it has the amp effects that I want, I mean, just to the nth degree. It has two other free inputs that I haven't even used, and it has 2 line outs through like regular, guitar jack, 1/4-inch jacks. So it's really got everything I need, and I think I could, out of those 2 line outs, extend it to 2 more speakers and not have to go too loud and get a pretty spread signal. That's really my objective, is I want to be able to not blast the music. I don't like blasted music. By that I mean really loud music, wherever I can help it. I want to get more into the fidelity of it, and I want to be in settings where it's not blasting, but just sounds really good at a lower volume. Not super low, loud enough to hear it, but yeah. So So where to play? That's the objective. So I want to play some places for free, obviously, because I'm just tuning it in. And a local city not too far from here has like a art night sort of thing, where it's like an old kind of village setting with a bunch of art galleries and so on. And people do play out in front of those. And I think I could most likely get one of those where I could just play probably a 2.5 hour set, something like that, 2 hour set, 3 hour set, all original music, and just see what happens. And of course, I'll live stream that. So I hope you will be with me on this journey as we live stream it. That's interesting thing about that Spark Live is that although you can run it through your audio interface, through the headphones jack from the Spark, you can make it so that you run it through that headphones jack, but you still hear it. They thought of a lot of things, and that's one of the cool things, is that that means that I can still stream it and I can still hear it. Incredible stuff. But everything increases the difficulty just a little bit. Having that Spark amp is kind of like having a laptop as an amplifier, or a Macintosh as an amplifier. It's like that kind of easy, but not easy. But yeah, but I'm digging it. I am enjoying it. Getting darker. Yeah, and thanks again for everybody on the stream. Really appreciate it. Juke Guitar Vacation, El Green, Mr. Blue. Appreciate you, Mr. Blue. Hope you sub up. Love that name. And of course, the amazing Ubi, Roy's World official channel. Stoked on everybody who jumped on. Hope you will sub. Hit me with a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'll see you on the next live stream. I'm planning on live streaming again this month. This week. Not this month, this week. And incorporating the things we talked about at the beginning of the stream into that next performance. The Corner Nero Fuzz. Got my note here, and definitely going to check that out. All right, here's another thing I have written down. I bought a new power supply for my pedal board under the Hunnitap Musical Universe topics list. Talk about power supplies for pedal boards, and I found that the ones they sell at like Sweetwater are hundreds of dollars for a power supply, and I am sure they are good. But I also noticed that even though they're probably good, they had a lot of reviews that said that they had broken, that they'd failed in this way or that way, that people weren't happy. And then a lot of reviews that said they were fantastic. So, but some of them were like, I'm a gigging musician and this didn't work out for me. It wasn't reliable. That kind of thing. Kind of bummed me out. And then I went and looked on Amazon. I found a whole bunch of power supplies that have this one feature I'm looking for, which is a battery in the power supply. What I mean is something that would let me power my pedal board without plugging in for like 3-4 hours. I think that's a reasonable request. So I found one that claims to do that. It got a ton of good reviews, and I bought it. And it showed up today on a Sunday, believe it or not. So now I will be able to take my pedal board with me on that lightweight streaming rig I talked about earlier, and have all my pedals, to include potentially a Corner Nero Fuzz, or a Swollen Pickle Fuzz is the one I have, or my Qtron envelope filter, or all the other things. My A-Labs, I love those A-Lab pedals. That A-Lab delay is just so fun. I love that A-Lab delay. I've been playing around with really long reverse delay settings on that thing, and have been enjoying the creativity of it. And the next topic I had was learning to slow down the music. That's something I've been really trying to focus on, which is not that I'm such a speed demon of guitar, but just that, feel the space in the songs is something I've been trying to focus on a little bit more lately. Just to slow down and give it some breathing room, let the song play, not just be a noodle maniac, going off into your own noodle journey. It's kind of like a Grateful Dead song that went on for 15 minutes too long type of deal. It's like, man, Jerry, if you just stopped at minute 7, it would have been perfect, but that last 8 or 9 was brutal. Wow. No, I'm not left-handed. I'm right-handed. And yeah, the phone flips it, so I look left-handed. I call that the Jimi Hendrix effect. But I'm not. I'm right-handed. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, to be ambidextrous, that would be crazy. Can't imagine what that would do. You'd have like almost two options for how you might create a song in a way. That's pretty cool. Oh, here we go. People cam. We got to switch to the good people. Uh-oh, are they having an argument? No. Uh-oh. The wife? They're laughing. They're laughing. That's not a bad way to spend the night. Just walk down the beach with your wife, tell some jokes, have a good time, breathe in the fresh air. I think they're pretty intelligent. But yeah, feeling the space in songs, feeling the space in this stream even, like not having to rush. Like slow down and enjoy it. Sink into the color of the note like we were saying earlier in the stream. The old cliche, go with the flow, bro.